Svetlana is on vacation, and
Yes.
another, I think Sergey is on vacation too, and Nikolai is on business trip.
So it will probably be Vasily and Yuliana?
Hopefully Lena will come.
Yes.
They had a party yesterday. They were going to have, and maybe they are recovering.
Yes, I understand. Kyle and I went out for the first time since we've been at the new house, so we've kind of had a little party too. It was a little hard to get up this morning.
Did you already have this kind of barbecue party on the
Not yet. Not yet. He barbecued while I was gone, and I was upset, but he's like, I was just cleaning the grate. I was just getting it clean. So we haven't had a housewarming party yet. I'm sure we'll have one at some point. My family is coming next week, so that will be kind of my side of the family housewarming party. My brother takes everyone to a baseball game for their birthday present. There's a lot of summer birthdays. So he buys all of the family tickets, and that's kind of his present. So they're going to come up for a Cardinals game.
Yeah.
Vasily, we can't hear you, unfortunately. Are you there? I can't. I don't think so. Let me look and see. I have no, I don't have video yet either.
I think he's not connected to the audio conference.
Yeah, I think that's right. So they'll come up next week, and I think my mom and sisters will stay. This is the office / guest bedroom. It's got a couch that folds out, which has laundry that I need to do. But
I just had another question about. I think Leonid wants to take a break until maybe the winter time.
That's fine.
And if we have another group of maybe students or children, would you be able to take one group?
Yeah, I could.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I think we will have busy time beginning with September.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. We might have different ages and. Okay, so I will keep you in mind then, right?
Thank you. Yes, that would be great. Now that the move is taken care of, I don't think Kyle and I will move for a very long time.
Yeah.
We hate moving. It makes I'm kind of glad that it all got taken care of in the summer. It's kind of shocking how fast it happened. I think usually it takes longer than a month for most people to find the right house and buy it. Kind of depends, but I think we bought it at the right time because interest rates are increasing rapidly and the housing market is going up again. When does Katya go back to? Oh, hello.
Vasily, we can hear you. But no video. Vasily, could you turn on your video? Okay, good. So I'm disappearing now.
Okay. Hello, Vasily. I can't hear you. I think your audio is muted.
Hello.
Ah, hello. There we go. Yes. How are you, Vasily? Oh, hello, Elena.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Loud and clear. How are you today?
Fine.
And Vasily, how are you?
I'm fine.
Great. I'm so glad to see you guys today. I'm in my new house. So I heard that you talked about some interesting photos about American education. And I was curious, let's see if I can pull them up. I know you already talked about them, so I don't want to spend a long time looking at them, but I was curious to hear your impressions. So let me bring those up. The cartoons. So did you think that, which cartoon did you like the best? Maybe Vasily, what cartoon did you like the best?
One moment. My computer slows.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's fine. While we're waiting, Yelena, you might begin thinking about which cartoon you liked.
Number one?
Did you like number one the best?
No, I like picture number 8.
Number 8. Why did you like picture number 8?
This problem is наверное, не actually.
Sorry, there we go.
Topical.
It's what? Could you repeat, please? What about this problem?
This problem is topical.
Yes, typical?
In the word.
Yes.
Problem expensive educational.
Yes. But I thought that education was inexpensive in Russia.
Yes. Прежде, раньше.
In the past?
In past, with not being expensive. But now in Russia, with so.
Yes. It is now becoming expensive. It's now becoming more and more expensive.
It is now becoming expensive.
Yeah. So you go ahead.
It's very important for people and their parents. If consent. Озабочены, волнуются, думают, think about education for children.
It's important for parents to think about or to consider.
Considered educational of the children.
Yes. To consider. Just a second, I'm typing.
Я неправильно перевела.
It's important for parents to consider their children's education. or to plan ahead? Oh, yes, concerned. It's important for parents to be concerned?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. Let me see. I was going to see if I could find, there's many, let's see. Sometimes you have images like this. I'm sharing a photo, just a moment. Sometimes banks will use an image. Do you see the baby?
Mm-hmm.
And notice the graduation. Oh, just a moment. I don't seem to have an arrow. Oh, maybe I don't have an arrow. The graduation cap. Graduation. On a baby. This is a very funny picture because, of course, babies can't graduate. But banks will use these types of images to indicate that parents should be concerned about their children's education, even when they're babies. So that, let's see where it is. So that when in the cartoon the children are grown up, the dad doesn't have to do anything crazy in order to pay for their education. Vasily, which cartoon did you like the best?
I like cartoon number 2.
Number 2? Let's look at number 2. Let's see. Oh, Vasily, did you have excuses when you went to school? When you were young, did you have excuses if you didn't have your homework? So this is an excuse. Why don't you have your homework? A computer virus ate my homework. What were your excuses?
What excuses?
This is an excuse. A computer virus ate my homework. That's why I don't have it. That's an excuse. It's a reason. An excuse is a reason for not having homework here. So an excuse is a reason for not having homework in this situation. So if you didn't have your homework when you were in school, did you have excuses? What kind of excuses? Did you say that a computer virus ate your homework?
In pattern.
Yes.
Don't know question teacher.
Well, maybe he doesn't know the answer to the question, but
it is answer.
Right. But when I look, so when you look at this cartoon, you think, oh, he doesn't know the answer, right? When you see the cartoon. When I look at the cartoon, I think, oh, he doesn't have his homework to give to the teacher. Does that make sense?
I do understand.
I'll say it again. I'll say it. So in the U.S., usually you have sheets of work to turn into the professor or to the teacher. And if you don't have your homework, there are some very common excuses, such as my dog ate my homework, which means that the child is blaming the dog for eating his homework. That's why he doesn't have it to give to the teacher. In Russia, did you have to give homework to the teacher? Elena?
I did not meet in excuses. I was a school job.
Yes, you did all your homework. Vasily, are you the same as Yuliana? Did you always do your homework?
Yes.
Yes. I think that is the best option. I also always did my homework, and I did not need excuses. But it's funny to see how excuses change over the years as technology advances. So, my dog, a computer virus. Well, today I wanted to talk a little more about college education. So, does everybody see the image again that we were looking at, I think, a week and a half ago? So, education in the U.S. Do you see the image? I hope that I have a pointer. Yes? Yelena, do you see the image? Education. I don't know if it changes images for you when I look at the image, but do you see the picture of education in the U.S.?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the picture of education in the U.S.? It's kind of a schema. It's a schema. Yes, Vasily sees it. I see his little arrow.
I can see this picture.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure that we were all looking at the same thing. So last time we talked about this, we talked about education mostly up to high school, up to the end of high school. And we also talked a little bit about vocational or technical institutes, junior or community colleges, and a very little bit about undergraduate studies, undergraduate programs. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more about undergraduate programs. But first I wanted to ask you a little bit about your college education. So I think the first question that I'd like to ask is who did you study with in school? Did you study with, and here by school I mean university, one group or with many different people? Okay, so my first question for both of you is, who did you study with in school? And I should say that in the United States, a lot of times we'll use school for both this lower education, primary education, but we also talk about school meaning universities or colleges. So it can be a little confusing, but here I mean university. So Vasily, who did you study with in school? Did you have one group of people that you studied with?
I did study 5. Number 5. I think.
Yes, that's fine. You had.
And I did study with one group.
You had one group. How big was your group, Vasily? How big?
In my group, my group was 13.
13?
13.
13? Oh, 30, 30, 30. 30. That's a hard distinction.
Sure.
Yes. 13, I'll type them. 13 versus 30. They're very close. They're very close. Yeah, 30. Yelena, did you study with a group or with many different people?
At school, I studied 8 years, from the first to 8th grade in one school and 2 years in other school. In university, I studied 5 years with one group, 25 people.
35? 35?
25.
Oh, 25, I'm sorry, 25.
Together with me.
Wow. So you must have, both of you must have known those group of people very well at the end of 5 years.
This usually size group in Russia.
Yes.
And we was good group.
Yes. You were a good group.
Friendly group.
Oh, nice. Yes, I understand. You got along well. You got along well. That means there were friendly, there was not much fighting or disputes or problems. There weren't many problems in the group. There weren't many problems in the group. Yeah. So Vasily had a group of 30, and Yelena was a part of a group of 25. And you had all of your classes together? Vasily? You had all of your classes together? This group of 30? You and this group of students, you took all of the same classes?
Together.
This is a difficult question.
Difficult question.
Because, and here you will see what I mean. This is a question that an American would ask and that a Russian would never ask, and I forgot. This is a poor question. This is a poor question. It comes from the differences between American and Russian university courses. Okay, so the question that I asked is a bad question. You will understand. Maybe now I will talk a little bit about how American university courses work, because that can be interesting. So it might help you understand. Do you see the page academic? It's got this is my that's right, Truman State University. This was my or this is, I can say, this is my alma mater. And alma mater in English means the university where you graduated. So an alma mater, it's just a Latin phrase, and it just means the university that you graduated from, that you have a degree from. So I graduated from Truman State University, and as you can see, these are what they call majors. Majors are the main course of study. Minors do not a degree, but a smaller specialization. So if you have a minor, it's not your main degree, but you can have take a smaller number of classes and have an additional qualification. I'll explain that a little more later. And programs of study is just the different subjects a student can study. So first, I would like to look at, let's see, they don't really have engineering, but for Vasily, they do have economics. So let's look at economics. And I've clicked on it. Do you see the new page that comes up?
I see.
Okay, I'm trying to find. Okay, here's a degree worksheet. I'm sorry, some of them are direct and some of them are a little indirect. Let's look at the Bachelor of Science, and I'll explain the difference in a moment. Okay, now you have a new sheet that just came up. This is called a sample. Do you see the sample program? Do you see it yet, Eliana?
Program.
I'm sorry? You see it, Vasily?
No, I cannot see.
You cannot see it. Okay. Maybe I lost you here. I'll download it and upload it a different way. I'll save it to my desktop. Okay, I'm going to share a new document. It should be loading. Okay, now do you see it? And Vasily?
I see.
Okay, so you see that, remember we talked about freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. So freshman is first year in college, sophomore is second year, junior is third year, and senior is fourth year. Most undergraduate studies are 4 years, so instead of 5. Notice this says sample. It says sample. Do you know what the word sample means? Sample means it's one possibility. One possibility out of many. So there are many different possible ways to do these courses, but for example, a freshman might take in the fall microeconomics, pre-calculus, and a variety of other things. They have a special class that introduces students to college, which is called Truman Week. They would have to take some English, writing as critical thinking, a health course, okay? And in the next semester, they might take the second course of microeconomics, Calculus 1, a speech class. They might take a military science class. Does this seem strange to you? Is there anything that seems strange to you or unusual? Or something you don't, it can be very difficult to understand. What questions do you have about this? So this is a proposed or a hypothetical semester, course of study. This is what a student might study if they wanted to become an economist. You look a little bemused, Yelena.
What is this?
That's a very good question. That is the potential number of hours, okay? So you have here, let's see, I don't know why it has a pound sign, but a 3. This is a 3-hour class, okay? So economics, that means that a student will be in class probably Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 hour, which is 50 minutes, or Tuesday, Thursday for 1.5 hours, which is 90 minutes. So economics, microeconomics may be taught on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for a total of 1 hour each week, okay? That means that this is a 3-hour class. Pre-calculus is also a 3-hour class. The students...
It's all course for 1 week?
Yes, in a week, right. 3 hours in a week, yes, correct. This student may take, because this university requires students to take a health course, a general health course, general health or fitness. The student has the option between military science or Health 198 and 198L, okay? So they can either take military science. If they take military science, if they take military science, and I'll just, that's only 1 hour a week. Okay? However, if they take Health 198 and Health 198L, which they go together, that is 3 hours a week. This English class is also 3 hours, and an elementary language class, so a beginning language class, might be 3 or 4 hours a week. And then they also have this mandatory equals required. Mandatory is required or necessary. Truman week, which is 1 hour. It counts as 1 hour. So when you add up these options, a student following this course of study, so this example, would have somewhere between 14 hours and 17 hours of in-class hours in class each week. Does that surprise you, Yelena? Does that surprise you?
I understand.
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay, I will explain again. Looking at the fall term, that's called the fall semester. Okay. These are abbreviations or short names for classes that a student might take. You understood that, correct? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say this student is taking microeconomics, their first semester. Yes?
This I understand.
Okay.
What question?
The question, oh, okay. Does it surprise you, sorry, does it surprise you, I'll type it also, that students are in class for 14 to 17 hours a week? That's my question. Sorry.
14, 17, what?
Hours a week in class, in the classroom with a professor. Students are in...
14, 17 students?
No, so for example, students are in class 14 hours a week. So in 1 week, students may be in class 14 hours with a professor teaching them. or maybe 15 hours, 16 hours.
This is very.
Do you think it's a lot of hours?
I'm surprised.
Are you surprised that it's that many hours?
Many hours.
Yes. What do you think, Vasily? Do you think it's a lot of hours?
I don't know. I do understand.
Okay.
Is sample problem. First, my однокурсник, первокурсник, sophomore year второкурсник, junior year третий,
and senior.
It is no, all year it is 5. 5 years.
In America, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
In Russia, 5. There are 5 years. But in the United States, usually it's 4.
My question.
Yes. Can you repeat your question, please?
What freshman year?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
My question: what do elementary language?
Students can choose.
It is
very low, beginning.
It is high school.
Yes. This is university.
No,
but
the
students
don't know high school.
No, not high school. Not high school. This is university. But students, this is a problem in the United States, in my opinion. But this is university study, but many students may not have taken a foreign language in school, grade school.
It's English language.
So no, this is foreign language, elementary language. So they must take the elementary basic level of a foreign language when they study at this university. So this university studies, and this is an economist. But if the student has not studied a foreign language, or even if they have, usually they have to study some foreign language in order to receive their degree. That's a very good question. But they have a choice.
What language?
No, it cannot be English. They also have to study English. Notice this writing class, English 190. That is a writing class. So they do have to study English. But this, the elementary language, that is a foreign language.
Russian, French,
many languages. Let's look at, just a moment. Let me see if I can go back. Oh, yeah, let's see. Well, I was able to go back. Academics. Okay. Let me see. Truman. I'm pulling up the foreign languages. Okay, so I'm going to share a new page. I'm sorry, there's very many pages. I'll close a couple. Yes. No. And close. No. Okay, do you see, let's see, hold on, let me make sure. Let me find, I want to find a list of the foreign languages. Okay, you see requirements. Do you see that? Do you see the page requirements? Okay, look on the left, and do you see major and minor requirements? There's a list. Do you see that list? It says classics, French, German, Romance language, Russian, Spanish, and so on. You see that? Okay. So our economist, our sample student, would be able to pick one of the languages in this list. Okay, so I know not all of these are languages, but they could pick classics. Classics would be Greek or Latin. French, they could pick German, Russian, Spanish, Italian. Okay?
Okay, I do understand.
Yes, you understand. Okay, so we'll go back. Let's see. So looking at our sample program again, but they would have to take a semester. Oh, that's the wrong page. I'm going to close that. No. They would have to take elementary language their first semester in the fall and also in the spring. Okay?
Okay.
But that would be...
Russian.
Yes, Russian. Yes. I took Russian at Truman State University. It is a difficult language. For English speakers, it is much more difficult than French or Spanish. Yes. Yuliana, what do you understand kind of the this sample program, or do you have questions about it?
I think I understand.
Good.
If student miss to class, what he be?
If a student wants to what? If he wants to take a class?
Пропускает.
Oh, if he misses, oh yes. If a student misses, class, it depends on the class. Each professor, well, first I should say, if a student misses class, he or she should talk to the professor. If it's a regular class, then usually they can ask a fellow student for notes. So if it is a regular, a normal class, they might, he or she might ask a classmate for notes. Many professors give points for attendance. So they will miss those, the student will miss those points. Okay, so if it's a normal class, if the class did not have an exam, then the student who missed class will want to ask a classmate for notes, ideally. And they probably will go see the professor. The student might go see their professor during office hours. Professors hold office hours, in order to answer students' questions, help them with I don't know, with anything they need, or to for other purposes or anything else. So office hours are time when a professor says, I will be in my office from this time to this time. You may come and see me if you wish. So a student may also see, if they miss class, they may see the professor during office hours. If there was an exam, the professor might allow a student to make up an exam. But usually, so if there was an exam during the class the student missed, the professor might allow the student to make up or to take the exam during their office hours. But usually, this is only if the student has a medical note showing that they were ill, probably seriously ill, or maybe an obituary. I'll explain. Proving that there was a death in the family or some other emergency. An obituary is a death notice printed in a newspaper. So usually if a student, oh, that's you, I've confused you. So if a student misses an exam, then they have to have a very serious reason for the professor to allow them to make it up at another time. So if they miss an exam and they just slept too long, they probably will not be allowed to make up the exam. If they just slept in late and missed an exam, they will probably not be able to make up the exam. They will lose the points. And it will hurt their grade. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question, Yelena?
Yes.
Does it seem very strict? Oh, go ahead.
I have a question.
Very similar for Russia.
Similar to Russia also? Yes. Vasily, go ahead. You have a question?
I see the interested subject.
Yes, what's that?
It is introduction to military science.
Yes.
What economic program? Military science.
That is a very good question. This university, Sherman State University, and most undergraduate universities have a variety of topics. These schools are called liberal arts college universities, liberal art schools. Military science does not directly relate. It does not directly relate to economics. You are completely correct. There is not a direct link. But universities, liberal art schools, require students to take a broad range of subjects. A broad, that means wide, range of subjects. They take the most courses in economics and mathematics, microeconomics, pre-calculus, calculus 1, principles of macroeconomics, intermediate macroeconomics, statistics, qualitative modes of inquiry. However, there are also other courses that they have to take because the universities think that these students need to be able to talk about more than just economics. They need to understand Missouri state law. So they need to understand a little bit about their government, or physical science. They need to understand some physical science. They need to be able to write well, so they have to take a writing enhanced course that is not in economics. They have to take a course that requires them to write a lot. They also could take, they also need to take a speech class. See this, fundamentals of speech, so that they can speak well in front of other people. So let me bring up, there was another one that was better. I'll bring up the French document because this shows the requirements for a course. Do you see the tab content? And you should see French, BA. Do you see that? Look at the tab content that shows French. Say, Vasily, do you see it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Up at the top it says content. At the top. Look for content. We were looking at sample program. You still don't see it? Yelena, do you see it?
I did not.
Okay, let me share that. I'll share that in a new tab. Just a moment. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I see.
Oh, Vasily sees it?
Click.
Okay.
I click.
Let's see, French. Yes, you have to click on French. So Vasily sees it. Here, I can share it also. I'll share it in a new tab. This might be easier. Okay, this is preview program.
I see.
Okay. So this is one of the degrees that I completed. And you see that it is for French. And at the beginning, they have a few requirements. But then after the requirements, you see that a student has to complete 31 to 57 credits in the liberal studies program, and we'll look at that. There's a Missouri statute. That means that students have to take the Missouri statute requirement. Means that students have to take a course in in government, particularly relating to Missouri. Actually, I take that back. It's just general. And then there are Bachelor of Arts credits. So you have general requirements. These are not related. The liberal studies program, the statute requirement, and the Bachelor of Arts requirements are not related directly to French. Okay? These are courses that students must take that are not specific to French. Okay? And then they have to have, if a student wants to receive a degree in French, they have to take the 2 French classes, Intermediate Proficiency, okay, so Intermediate French 1, Intermediate French 2, and then they also have to have their major requirements. Major requirements are the courses directly related to their interest in French. So major requirements. So all of the courses that are under major requirements are French courses. Yes? Do you see that, Vasily? Juliana? Good. Yes. So all of the major requirements are specifically French courses. But I'm going to show you. So you might say, well, what are the liberal studies program requirements? What are those? That sounds different. You have to take a variety of classes, and I'll show you that. Let me share it. But students may choose. Students can choose which courses they want to take. So, do you see the liberal studies program? Do you see that? It's a new tab. There's a strange noise. Is that from me? Someone walking. Do you see the preview the liberal studies program requirements?
She.
Okay, and Vasily? Okay. You have essential skills, and students have to take 8 to 17 hours from this section. They must take, do you remember let's see, we'll scroll down. In The Economist, they had military science. Do you remember that, Vasily?
What?
You asked about military science, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Look at, just a second, look at the section Personal Well-Being. Pardon. Personal well-being. This is a health thing. Notice that they have to choose one of the options. Sorry. they must choose either Health 195 and 196, Health 198 and 198L, or Military Science 100 and Military Science 101. So the student, the economist, we'll say the economist, must pick one of these three options in order to receive their degree. So they have to take a health course. The students are required to take a health course. They also must take, notice at the top, they have to take a writing course, English 190. They have to take a speech course. They have to have basic math skills. So if they have not already taken calculus, they have to take college algebra, trigonometry, or they have to take pre-calculus. They must take statistics. There's no specific computer class because if they are completing all of their other classes, they are going to have to use computers, and it's assumed that they have computer skills. But then they also have other classes. Notice that they have what they call qualitative modes. And it says 9 credits. That means that a student must pick 9 hours of classes from the list below. So an economics student must choose 3 hours from the visual and performing arts. So let's say our student likes Russian language. That student, who is an economist, not a Russian major, may choose the class Russian 325, and they may study Russian and Soviet cinema. Another economics student may prefer, theater. So they may take Theater 275 and study Introduction to Theater Arts. Okay? So they have to take one course from this list of classes. Then they go to literature, and they must take at least 3 hours, a 3-hour course in literature. And they have a very long list, as you can see, of literature. They may take Russian drama, and this course is taught in English. If it is a general course for all students, not just for Russian majors, Russian students who are studying Russian, it will be offered in English. And the economist that we are studying may decide to study Russian drama. They must also take a historical or a philosophical or religious. So they have to take 3 hours, but there are 4 categories. So they may pick courses from 3 of the 4 groups. I'm curious to know what your reactions are. You both look very deep in thought. Yelena, what is your reaction?
We call it physical culture.
I'm sorry, say that again, Vasily?
We call it physical culture.
Ah, I see you call it physical culture.
Military science
In
Russia is physical culture.
Yes, yes.
And it's labbing military works.
I'm sorry, say that again?
And
yes.
people.
And what? And fitness?
In Russia, physical culture
is not related to the
and point.
Yeah, period. That's all. Military science.
Physical culture dissolved military law.
Yes, the two health courses are like physical culture, but students also have the option to take military science, which is led by the military, the U.S. military, and students who take military science may decide to become officers in the military. One advantage is that their education is then paid for by the government. That's why students might decide to take military science. But students who choose military science are not required. Military Science 100 and 101 do not require students to continue in studying for the military.
No. The law is paid for by government.
Yes. If you decide not military science 100 or 101, but if you continue past military science 101 and commit to becoming an officer after you graduate, then the U.S. government will pay for your education. But you have to serve in the military a certain number of years after you graduate. I'm sorry, Elena, you were saying you had a question?
Yes. as I understand, student can choose different course.
Yes.
Smaller course or larger course.
Yes.
How does this reflect on diploma?
As far as the smaller or larger 3-hour or 4-hour course, there is no difference. What does reflect on the diploma is the grade point average. So this is called the GPA. And students with the highest GPA receive special honors. There are also special programs, honors programs. So if students decide to choose harder courses, they may receive a special note. So it may be general honors with general honors on their diploma. Okay? This is if they choose specific courses, the hardest courses, or harder courses, not just the easiest courses. Because if they choose the easiest courses, that does not qualify them for general honors. So there may be a special note depending on what kind of grades the student gets. If they keep very good grades all through school, no matter what courses they take, they will have, so there's laude, that's, let's see, I don't remember what, laude, so it's, let me see if I can, it's certain, there's laude, cum laude, and magna cum laude. Magna cum laude is the highest, and that is for students who had a 4.0. That's the highest you can get. It's a 0.002 to 4.00. That's the range of a GPA. Okay. Okay. So, and I don't remember, but it's something like a 3.5 to a 3.8 is laude, maybe. I'm not sure, but, and then a 3.81 to a 3.99 would be cum laude. Does that answer your question?
Is it possible to pass an external?
Yes. To take a course at another university? Is that what you mean? Is it possible to take a course at another university? Maybe that wasn't your question. An external what?
No.
No?
I have possible studies
that's fine, I'll read.
Independently, studies independently.
Oh.
At home, in internet, in read book,
Yes.
and take and go to exam and
take the exam in class. It is possible. Vasily wants to know before the deadline. Hold on with that thought, Vasily, and I'll answer Yelena's question first, and then we'll return to that. It is possible sometimes. It depends on the program. For example, I do not believe that if you want to study economy at Truman State University, you cannot study this program remotely. We would say remotely, or at a distance, online. However, I'll give you a different example. There is sometimes in a university the possibility to study at a satellite location. So in the state of Missouri, I live in the state of Missouri, and there is the University of Missouri. And there are what we call campuses in different cities around Missouri. So in St. Louis, where I live, there is a campus in Columbia, where my family lives, and there's a campus in Kansas City, another very large town. My brother is studying pharmacy, but he lives in Columbia, and the pharmacy school, the main pharmacy school, is in Kansas City. But the university has a satellite program set up in Columbia. So he is able to live in Columbia with the rest of my family, and he attends classes which are on a video screen, but they are still in a building, I mean, on the campus. So that's one way. So one way is a satellite program with video, remote video screens, etc. Okay, so that's one way. But he still goes to class every day. Another way is online courses. Second way, online courses. And these are becoming more common. They still are not everywhere. Many of the institutions, most institutions offer online courses for profit. So it is, as you commented on the blog, commercialized. But this offers a way for students who cannot come to a physical classroom, a way to earn a degree. Most of these programs right now are not as prestigious. Prestigious means well respected. But many universities that are well respected, for example, the University of Texas, who I work for, are developing programs for their degrees that they currently have on campus to be taken online to earn a degree. And then these would have online exams. So that is beginning to happen more and more. That's a very long answer. Does it make sense? Vasily, you had a question about, let me look back in the chat.
I do understand. It's
You don't
money,
understand.
money, everywhere
Yes.
money.
Most of you understand.
It's
Yeah.
cosmos.
Yes. Yes. And of course, you know, paying the professors also costs money. So, yeah. But most well-respected universities are not for-profit. I'll put that in quotes, for-profit. That means that they are not trying to make money. They're just trying to keep the cost of education as low as possible, but still be able to pay good professors to work there. They want a high level of, what would I say, academics and lower cost of education. But professors, university professors, are very well paid. So if a university wants the best professors, and therefore the best reputation and education, it must pay its professors well. So, fairly well. They're not as well paid as doctors. Doctors in the United States are paid very high salaries, unlike in Russia. So, now that I have shown you a little bit of a degree plan in the United States, I asked you first about your groups, and both of you studied with one group all the way through college. In the United States, students do not study as one group. There are, of course, students all begin college their first year, but let's look at this economist again. Let me find. Decided to take pre-calculus their freshman fall semester. But let's say there's another student in their class that begins the same year. They take economics together, they both take military science, they both take writing as critical thinking, but this second student has already taken calculus in high school. They don't need to take pre-calculus. So they may skip to Calculus 1 and take Calculus 1 their first semester. So this means that students may take classes together. There may be a group that takes several different classes, but most students do not take all classes together because the coursework, the classes that they take, are individualized. Or in their sophomore year, Student 1 may like Russian drama, so they may take a Russian literature course, studying Russian drama. But the other student may like theater, so they may choose theater. So in this way, students very frequently have different classmates in each course that they take. Does that make sense? So each course may have, each class or course may have a very different group of students. When I was studying, there were French students studying French, that I didn't meet until my senior or junior year in college, when we finally took some classes together. So when there were students studying French in the French program who were the same year that I was. We were freshmen the same year, but I didn't meet them until my junior year in college when we finally had some classes in common. Because each of these classes, microeconomics, pre-calculus, military science, English, each of these classes may have a very different group of students. You look bemused, Yelena. Does that seem strange?
Very unusual for me.
Yes. Now you understand why I said, did you take all of your classes with the same group? Because in the United States, each class will probably have different students in it. So I forget that, of course, one group will take all of the same classes together. Because in the U.S., the same group never takes the same classes together. It's always a new group. This is why...
One group. Russia, one group.
Yes.
1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, one group.
Yes. So I think, and maybe you can correct me, but I think that in Russia, you have closer friendships with your classmates from college than we do in America. I have maybe 1 or 2 college classmates that I still stay in contact with. So Vasily, do you have contact with your college classmates?
Yes.
How many? How many of your college classmates?
In Russia, have tradition.
Yes.
Every 5 years, it's day.
Do you have a class reunion?
Day meeting students.
Yes. Fellow students? We would call this a class reunion.
Fellow students.
In America, but usually in America, this is only for high school. Because otherwise there's not a tight-knit group. Not only, most commonly for high school. Most commonly for high school. There are sometimes class reunions also for college, but they are less popular because you did not know your group as well. There might be many students. When did you go to the last class reunion, Yelena?
What last class?
Yes. Did you go to your last class reunion? Oh, I can't spell. Did you go to your last class reunion?
no, I have not possible
Yes.
for them. But I have contact for 5, 6 my classmates
Yes.
to internet and
Yes.
go to home one to my classmates in Vaza City.
Yes. Yes. Are you able to see each other very often?
Every year some.
Yes. So every summer you are able to see each other?
We is very friends, big friends.
Yes, very good friends. Yes. And I have only 1 or 2 very good friends. So from college.
Mm.
Vasily, do you have many good friends from college?
Yes, and in Russia, we have the most popular site
Yes.
to name Одноклассники.
Oh, yes, I've heard of it.
It is Одноклассники, fellow student university.
Yes.
From university student, no school.
Yeah, not for school. Okay, I didn't know that.
In American Facebook,
Yes.
Facebook no university.
It used to be, at first, it was only for university students.
No.
But,
In Russia,
but now,
popular.
yes.
Одноклассники.
Yes.
University student.
I think that Facebook is now more like Skontakte. I think that Facebook has become similar. No, you don't think
I
so?
not have contact.
Yeah, yeah. I think.
This is for youngest people.
Yes, yes. So maybe there are some differences because in America, Facebook, it seems like everyone is on Facebook now, which is not true, but there are young people and older people the same because we do not have, we don't have a site like Одноклассники. It does not exist. But I think it would be very useful if it did. But again, it might not be popular the same way it is in Russia because our classes, our groups of students at the university are not as close. They do not know each other as well as the groups in Russia. You seem tired this evening, Yelena. I'm sorry, Vasily, I interrupted you. Has it been a long day, Yelena?
Я прослушала вопрос.
Has it been a long day?
And difficult day.
A very difficult day?
Oh, every day difficult day.
It's
No.
true. No. Vasily disagrees.
No, free day and work day.
Did you work? Oh yes, yes. It's the end. It's almost the end of the week, of the work week. Thursday.
Yes.
Yes. I wanted to say thank you for meeting me today instead of yesterday. I had a trip with my family. Yes. Well, my husband's family. without him. He had to stay home and work. It was interesting. It's interesting. So this is, let's look back at our education image again, education in the United States. So in undergraduate programs, you study your subject of interest and usually other general topics. But at a vocational school, generally you only study the subject of interest. And so that's one difference. That's one difference between an undergraduate program and a vocational or technical institute. So in the undergraduate program, you might study military science, for example. But at a vocational or technical institute, you would only study what you wanted to do. So if you wanted to be an I don't know, I have a friend who is an electrical or a lineman for a power company. And he studied at a technical institute. That means he works on the power cables, power lines. And that pays well, but the job is not as prestigious. The job is not as, it pays well, but there is less prestige. Or being a police officer like my husband. You do not have to study at an undergraduate university. You can finish high school, you can get a high school diploma, and then you can become a police officer, and it is not as prestigious. I think this is similar to Russia. Do you have to have studied at a university to be a police officer in Russia? Do you have to study at a university to become a police officer in Russia? I never asked this. Do you know? Do you know, Vasily? You don't know?
Yes.
You do have to study at a university to become a police officer?
Russia, special university.
I see. So some sort of an institution, an institute.
Policy.
Yes, yes. Do you know how long it is, Yelena, the police institute? How many years or months? Do you know?
years.
A 5 year? It's a 4, how long?
5 years or 4 years.
4 or 5 years. 4 to 5 years. Ah. So it's like
very specific
university,
and I know about this very little.
Yes, I understand. And your course of study, Elena? How long was your course of study?
5 years.
5 years. And Vasily, you said it was 5 years also, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Polish University is our military university.
Ah, it's the same.
One system. One system.
Oh, how do you know this? How do you know that it's one system?
My in-house.
That's fine.
Translate.
Oh, your neighbor.
Neighbor.
Yes, neighbor.
In my house.
Ah, so you have in your apartment complex, your neighbor is a police officer?
Yes.
Ah, very interesting. Yes, neighbor. That's a hard word. It's a very hard word to say. It sounds nothing like the spelling.
How military
Yes. Yeah.
They live in university.
Yes.
Live.
Yes. Did you have to live at the university where you studied, Vasily?
What?
Did you live at the university where you studied?
I don't know.
No.
No.
Where did you live? Where did you live?
With my parents.
Yes. And Yelena, did you live at the university where you studied? Did you?
Общежитие.
In a dorm. I lived in a dorm. Dorm is short for dormitory. Общежитие. Yeah.
Home student.
Yes. Yes. Most students in the United States begin at a dorm. They live first in a dorm, and then many of them try to find an apartment on their own. Only a few students live with their parents. Most students, it's interesting because young people in America try to move away from home much sooner than in Russia. There are humorous movies about people, about young adults, usually boys, who are still living at home. So this makes...
Is your culture.
Yes, it is our
American culture.
Yes, exactly. It's different. So these movies would not be funny in Russia because it would seem normal, more normal. So there is a movie, Failure to Launch, like a spaceship. So failure to launch. It's as though so the word in English, it's as though there's some negative. There is a negative connotation to leaving home late. Whereas in Russia, it would seem bad to leave too soon. Yeah.
Loser.
Yes. Yes. For whatever reason. Yeah. I don't know why. It's just the way that things have developed. Yeah. And as we talked about, as we talked about very early in the course with nursing homes, again, grandparents don't usually live, very often grandparents do not live with their children in the home. Sometimes near, usually as near as possible, but for whatever reason, it's different, yeah. And children leaving home early is also another difference between American and Russian culture. But, well, I'm going to put a post under Kostya's education post, and I would be interested to hear, I would like you to write, just to kind of finish this topic, about where you would prefer to study, and I'll write this on the blog, in an American university or at a Russian university, if you had to go and redo your education, and then some reasons, as well as maybe some advantages to the Russian system and some advantages or disadvantages to the American system. So I'll put these questions on the blog, but I hope now you'll have some ideas about the two systems and how they're a little similar or a little different or a lot different. Do you have any other questions about this before we move on to a new topic?
They're very difficult. I am not prepared.
There are many differences. And it can sometimes be hard to imagine. It was hard for me to imagine the Russian system before I taught at a Russian university when I was in Omsk. It helped a lot to see how the classes, how each group has all of the same classes. It helped me understand a lot better. And I think that the U.S. system seems very complicated and difficult if you haven't been there. And even, I should say, when I was a freshman in college, it seemed very difficult to me also. And because it's rather complicated, there are special counselors, college counselors, college career counselors, course counselors, who help students select classes each semester, because it is complicated and sometimes very difficult. So there are even special individuals to help students. Because we looked at the, let's see, but in the United States, at a liberal arts school, at a liberal arts university, students may begin their studies without declaring a major. And if they do this, they only study at the beginning general classes or courses. that would apply to all majors. So they would take English, and Vasily is gone. He must have had to leave. Does that make sense, Yelena? It must seem very strange that a student may begin their studies without a major. So they may decide to become an economist, but they may not know that their first year. And so they would start with all of the very general courses. Very strange. And in fact, they may even change. They may think, oh, I want to study economy. And so they will begin with many general courses and then maybe an economics course. And then they'll think, oh, I don't like economics at all. And then they may change to biology or French. It's very strange. So sometimes students in the U.S. who change very often may have to stay in school for 5 years instead of 4 because they have courses that they didn't take the first year and they must take them in order to graduate. Yes.
This is broad possible.
Yes.
For students.
Yes.
It's good. It's better.
I think maybe. But it can be very challenging or intimidating for students when they are first starting, because there are so many choices. They think, what choices do I make? It can be very hard. But I think that it helps students. I have a very good friend in France, and in France they have a much more fixed system. In high school they have to decide, are they going into literature or technical studies, engineering, mathematics, or political science. And so even in high school they have to choose, and it's very early. And I think it's very hard for students or high school students who are that young to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And so she has always told me that she wishes the French system were more like the American. For better or for worse, they're different. But she says that she didn't know in high school, and if she had studied in the U.S., she might have had more options. But it is what it is. Well, I think we'll call it a day, or call it a night for you. You look so tired. I feel very bad. So I will see you on Monday then, I hope.
What?
I will see you on Monday then, I hope.
I'll understand.
Yes, I'll type it. I will see you on Monday then, I hope.
Oh, I think yes, of course.
I hope so. Thank you. Thank you for your participation, Yelena.